2025 meeting of the Board of Zoning Appeals to order. We'll begin with roll call.
Garner. Here. Gidley.
Here.
Ritchie.
Here.
Wendell.
Here.
Jacobs.
Here. The minutes of the last regular meeting of May 6, 2025 were distributed to the board members via email or mail. Are there any corrections? If no, I'll entertain a motion for approval of the minutes as presented.
A motion we approve them as presented. Second.
I have a first and second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. First on the agenda is BZA 2025-08. Ty, will you please present your findings? Or report, not findings.
Way too many times. Oh no, it's gonna go all the way to the end. Stop. I had the right arrow a lot.
We'll do them all at once, and then we'll get through it. You see it?
It's the fastest meeting you've ever seen.
We're going through it.
Here we go. Okay. Let me bounce back to this case real quick for you. I had to go through about 100 and some slides from the planning commission meeting because we restarted the computer. So, yeah, there we go. Excellent. So, for this first case, we have Zenon Ortiz, Baca, 233 East Lake Avenue, Plymouth, Indiana, 46563. He's applying for a variance of development standard to permit an accessory structure before a primary structure on parcel 504227000019000018 located at Plymouth Goshen Trail, Plymouth, Indiana 46563, zoned R1 Rural Residential District. So the request, the applicant is seeking to permit an accessory structure prior to the construction of a primary structure or a house, typically. So here's his subject property. If you go out Plymouth Goshen Trail right before you jump over 31 in the bridge that they built about a decade or so ago, he's got the last parcel on the left-hand side. It's got some woods on it, and it's also got a wetland associated inside of those woods. But there's space to build what he wants to. But looking up and down the roadway, and as we pan across the property on the south side, and then we go up to the north side where his driveway entrance is, you can kind of see some of the additional property spaces there. So the analysis for this is the applicant owns a vacant approximate 1.8 acre parcel on Plymouth Goshen Trail between US 31 and 30. He is wanting to construct an accessory structure prior to a primary structure on the property. It would be for personal use storage of his belongings. The current proposal is to build a 30 by 40, 12 foot tall building that'll meet all associated setback requirements. There are some wetlands on the property as shown on Beacon, but on the location as shared in the application, it appears to be outside of that designated area. The property is zoned R1 Rural Residential, which is intended to preserve the rural area, and a comprehensive plan designates the space as rural management. The rural areas of Mercer County are not uncommon to farming and low density uses, which also include accessory structures before or without the use of primary structures, such as a residential home. There we go. Decision criteria, you got 3 to consider this evening for this case, which includes general welfare, adjacent property, and practical difficulty. For finding number 1, the approval of this proposal should not be injurious to the public health, safety, and general welfare of the community due to the use being only for personal storage. For finding number 2, the use of personal storage on the property should have minimal impact on adjoining properties, both in use and value. For finding number 3, the strict application of the ordinance would not permit the proposal, but the ordinance does not distinguish the difference between an urban lot in the city and a rural lot in the extraterritorial jurisdiction, also known as the 2-mile area. So for recommendation based on the information provided and reviewed by the required criteria, staff would recommend approval of the proposed accessory structure. Now it is up for board determination. Any comments, questions for staff?
Anybody else? If not, thank you.
Thank you. The applicant.
I will. Will the petitioner or representatives please step forward to the podium? Please state your name and address for the record.
Good evening. My name is Zenon Ortiz, and I live in 233 East Lake Avenue here in Plymouth.
Okay.
So I've been living in Plymouth for 45 years. And the reason I need this is because just the personal belongings or whatever. So that's That's it.
Anything else to add that he didn't already say?
I think you got everything what I need to say.
Okay. Anybody have any questions?
You're not gonna build anything else there other than this building? You don't
As far
intend
as
to,
I know, no.
you're gonna have sewer, you're gonna have water and septic at that building?
Not in the meantime.
Have you applied for a septic permit?
No, not yet. But that I need to do, that I will do.
I'd like to know if you even got a a place to even put a septic tank and
I
septic
think
field.
I think it's enough room in there to put.
But it's a wetland, so I don't know whether or not
It's
there's
like
gonna
a
be enough.
triangle, so I think it's enough room right in the back, right on the side. There's plenty of room to put a septic tank if it needs to. In the meantime, I don't think I'm gonna do it. I don't think I'm gonna do it, as far as I know. But if I decide to do, I will come back to you guys, apply again, so.
Yeah. Okay. Anybody have any more questions? Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
All right. I'll entertain a motion to open up the public hearing.
Make a motion to open public hearing.
You got a first and a second? All in favor, please indicate, oh, excuse me, sorry. Is there anybody in attendance that would like to speak in favor of the proposal? Oh, we didn't vote, did we? We better vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, good. Sorry about that. Is there anybody in attendance that would like to speak in favor of the proposal? If so, please step forward to the podium, state your name and address for the record. Anybody online?
There are some people online, but nobody has unmuted, so I don't believe they want to speak in favor.
All right, is there anybody in the audience that would like to speak against the proposal? If so, please step forward to the podium, state your name and address for the record.
Again, nobody is unmuting.
Okay,
Motion to close the public hearing.
I second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion's closed. Do you have anything else you would like to add?
No.
Okay,
I'd like to make a motion.
make a motion.
A motion that we accept the proposal as stated.
We have a motion. Did accept it as stated?
A second.
We have a second. To accept it as stated. Roll call.
Garner.
Yes.
Kidley.
No.
Ritchie.
Yes.
Wendell.
Yes.
Jacobs.
Yes. Motion passes. So next is BZA 2025-09. Ty, present your report.
All right. So Shireen Marine LLC, 4192 South 150 West, LaPorte, Indiana 46350. Has a special exception request to permit a restaurant on parcel 5042 92 101 274 00019, located at 2124 North Michigan Street, Plymouth, Indiana 46563, Zone C3 Corridor Commercial District. Now, the request, the applicant is seeking to permit a restaurant within the C3 Corridor Commercial District. It doesn't list so outside of a special use, even though all the uses adjacent to it have restaurants. But that's just the way the ordinance currently reads. So here's the subject property on the east-hand side of North Michigan. And we went and looked up and down the roadway for context, and then panned across the subject property with the recently constructed Popeyes immediately to the south. And across from the south side as well. So for the analysis, the applicant is seeking to permit a restaurant off of the frontage drive on State Road 17, North Michigan Street. The property is zoned C3 Corridor Commercial District, but is also located in the Neighborhood Commercial Overlay District, which is where the land use is designated as a special use. There are adjacent restaurants that have been approved recently, and this completes the available ground for initial development in that area. I say initial as in should the property to the north of this one look to redevelop, it could, but at this time, that entire area is no longer green space, if you will. So the decision criteria for this case includes general welfare, development standards, ordinance intent, unnecessary hardship, comprehensive plan, and other considerations. So for finding number one, the proposal should not be more interest to the public health, safety, and general welfare because it is falling in line with the character and similar uses of the area. For finding number two, all development standards shall be adhered to and should a portion of the development not meet standard, a variance would be required before issuance of a building permit. For finding number 3, the approval of the proposed would not be contradictory to the purpose and intent of the ordinance as it is called out and considered when reviewing the standard district requirements and the overlay district requirements. For finding number 4, the proposal is permitted provided that it meets the context and intent of the area. And finding number 5, the comprehensive plan identifies the general area as transitional mixed use. This district supports economic growth, including but not limited to dining spots and coffee shops, thoughtfully designed to blend diverse land uses. So for other considerations, there's 11 of those. The first one being topography and other natural site features. The lot is relatively flat with the city park property located to the east. The zoning of the subject and surrounding properties is C3 corridor commercial, which matches a majority of the adjacent properties, but also there is a POS or park and open space to the east as well. Driveway locations, there will be no new additional driveways onto State Road 17 or Michigan Street, and a sidewalk will be provided connecting the infrastructure together. For parking, will be required in accordance with site plan review. Landscaping, just the same, will be required with the site plan review. Open space and other site amenities, none are indicated at this time. Noise production and hours of any business operation. Hours of operation have not been discussed, but would expect to be similar to that of adjacent businesses. Design, placement, and architecture. The architectural design will be similar to that of nearby structures. Placement, design, and intensity of lighting will be required in accordance with the site plan review. Traffic generation. Anticipated traffic generation will be peaked in the morning due to business Dunkin' Donuts, which is complementary to the adjoining restaurants. And general site layout as related to its surroundings. Site plan approval is still ongoing, and this project will be required to meet all associated development standards as laid out in the zoning ordinance. So for recommendation based on the information provided and review of associated development standards criteria, staff would recommend approval of the special use and would support staff's continued review of the site plan to ensure conformance with the development standards or assist in necessary variance applications as needed. Now is up for board determination. Any questions for staff?
I realize this is a zoning question, but what concerns me is the sight line there. And this is somewhat unrelated, but how did the Popeyes get so far ahead of the Culvers when it was laid out? How did that get approved?
How's it ahead of it?
How did they get so much closer to the road than Culver's is?
Anything can be in, as long as it meets setbacks, it can sit anywhere.
Does that meet the setback there?
Yes. If it's constructed, it meets setbacks. This board would have had to have given it approval to reduce said setback.
Do we know what the setback is on this lot? Is it the
On-
same as the Popeyes
Yeah,
lot?
same district, so it'd be the same standard.
Off the top of your head, what's the setback? You know,
125 feet, give or take.
Is that from the front of the
I
road
thought the
or
same thing, and I
from-
looked at Popeyes, but
It would be from
it
Michigan.
probably is it's that setback though. 25 feet.
This will have approximately 20 feet, similar to that of Culver's, where it'll have the road in front of it with a little bit of green space instead of the outdoor seating that Culver's has in relationship to the site plan shown on your map, or the imagery shown on the screen.
Okay.
But there will be no parking up against the road or between it and the drive. So that'll be similar in relationship to how Popeyes is structured currently. There's no parking west of the building.
Any questions for Ty? Thanks, Ty. Appreciate it. Will the petitioner or representatives please step forward to the podium? Please state your name and address for the record.
Good evening, Kalpesh Patel, address 4192 South 150 West, Loveport, Indiana. And we are requesting your permission to build a restaurant at the location that's going to be Dunkin'. And we'd like to serve the community in this area. We do have a development in nearby town, one in Loveport and one in Warsaw. We have a lot of customers stopping by. They're asking if we bring the restaurant in Plymouth. We'd like to see that. And we are hearing the voice of the customer, and we decided to do the development in the town. So we are requesting your permission.
Thank you. Any questions? Nope, thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, I'll entertain a motion to open up the public hearing.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
If there's anybody in attendance that would like to speak in favor of the proposal, please step forward, state your name and address for the record. All right. Is there anybody in the audience that would like to speak against the proposal? If so, please step forward, state your name and address for the record. All right.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to close the public hearing. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Board members, is there any additional discussion? If there's no additional discussion from the board, I'll entertain a motion for approval, denial, or other recommendations.
I motion we approve
As stated,
as stated.
I have a motion.
Second.
I have a second. Any other discussion? Roll call.
Garner.
Yes.
Gidley.
Yes.
Ritchie.
Yes.
Wendell.
Yes.
Jacobs.
Yes, passed. Thank you. All right. And then we have, Ty, if you would present BZA 2025-10, please.
Yes, sir. So,
I will, excuse me, if you guys want to leave, you can leave. We'll let you. It's okay. Everybody else, please stay.
Feel free to leave.
Everybody wants to leave, go ahead, go.
so our next case is Realic Michael T. and Joyce D. of 11772 Olive Trail, Plymouth, Indiana 46563. A variance of use to permit a car wash on parcel 5032-05-102-196-000-019 located at 1200 West Jefferson Street, Plymouth, Indiana 46563, Zone C1, General Commercial District. So the request is the applicant is seeking to permit a car wash on the subject property here. And yes, this imagery is very similar to that of the previous meeting because we were talking about the parcel to the northeast for the rezoning from residential to commercial. So this lot with a house on it, they're proposing to put the car wash there. We went out and we took pictures from behind the property. Got the backside of a residential building. And then as we look up and down Jefferson Lincoln Highway, you can see the residence is kind of masked by the large trees that are on the property currently. And then we go to the far corner and again pan across the front of that parcel. So for the analysis, the applicant is seeking to redevelop the currently residentially used lot more in line with the C1 General Commercial District zoning that the lot possesses. They are looking to develop a 2-lane fully automated touchless car wash that would enter and exit on West Jefferson Street. The C1 zoning district permits automotive mechanical repair and maintenance. The issue is that in the standard district and the neighborhood commercial overlay district, it didn't permit car wash and land uses, but another district did. So therefore, the applicant needed to go through the variance of use process for a car wash in the C1 district. They intend to meet all the required development standards. The lot in question is already zone C1. The majority of the lots adjacent to it are also C1 or commercially used. Out of the entire block, there only remains 3 residential lots on Madison Street side of the block, totaling less than 1/4 of the block. One of which lots were applicants ahead of this BZA meeting and the Planning Commission meeting tonight to have the lot rezoned from residential to commercial, matching the use of that property. So for decision criteria, those considered for your case, for this specific case, include general welfare, adjacent property, practical difficulty, unnecessary hardship, and the comprehensive plan. So for finding number 1, the approval proposal should not be injurious to the public health, safety of the community. For finding number 2, the use and value of adjacent property will have a mix of impacts depending on the commercial or residential use of those adjacent lots, but depending on the interpretation of the ordinance for this particular use, more intensive uses could be permissible by right without the need for a variance. So for finding number 3, the strict application of the ordinance would not permit the proposal, but the ordinance does permit similar uses without variance and is not self-imposed. For finding number 4, the strict application of the ordinance would constitute an unnecessary hardship on the owner, And for finding number 5, the comprehensive plan identifies this region as transitional mixed use. This district supports economic growth, which will need to be thoughtfully designed to blend diverse land uses. So for recommendation based on the information provided and reviewed by the required findings, staff would recommend approval of the proposal because of the conformance with the above variance factors and property context. So for board determination, it is in your hands.
Appreciate it, Ty. Thank you.
Questions, comments?
Sorry?
Any questions or comments?
So this is already commercial?
This is already C1 commercial.
This property is a commercial with residence on it, but the property we talked about earlier was a residence with a commercial use?
Yeah.
You were
Right
spot
next to
on.
it.
Any more questions? Thank you, Ty.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Will the petitioner or representative please step forward to the podium? Please state your name and address for the record.
Adam Souter, 10472 6B Road, Plymouth, Indiana, 46563.
How you doing?
Good.
Anything you want to add?
No, I mean, Ty, it's already zoned C1. Yeah, I guess the only reason we're here is it's in the overlay district. He stated it's bordered by Low Bob's, the old Express Lube place, and then the gentleman that was here earlier. So yeah, we've only got one neighbor that's residential to the northwest in that back third, give or take. The TRC meeting went well that we attended, and we've met with NIPSCO. They seem very interested in the project that we're kind of laid out before them here as far as that. So if you guys are good, we'll probably get going with Whiteman and a general contractor that's local very, very soon.
Board members, any questions? The representative?
Is that house that's on the property going to stay there? Or?
No, it will not. Yeah, it'll come down. There's some trees there as well. They're obviously gonna come down as well by some professionals because they are large.
We build some, we tear some down.
Any other questions?
Nope, I don't. You guys? Thank you.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
I'll entertain a motion to open up the public hearing. I have a motion.
Second.
All in favor, indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, state the same. I now declare the public meeting open. Is there anybody in the attendance who would like to speak in favor of the proposal? If so, please step forward and state your name and address. All right. Is there anybody in the attendance that would like to speak against the proposal? If so, please step forward to the podium, state your name and address for the record. Okay. Applicant, do you have any additional comments you'd like to make?
No, sir.
All right.
Motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same. I now declare the public meeting closed. Board members, any additional discussion? If not, if there's no additional discussion from the board, I'll entertain a motion for approval, denial, or other recommendations.
I motion to approve it as stated. Going for the hat trick tonight.
I have a motion for.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to accept as proposed. Roll call, please.
Garner,
Yes.
Gidley, Ritchie,
Yes.
Wendell,
Yes.
Jacobs.
Yes. Motion passes. Thank you. All right. Next on the docket is BZA 2025-11. Ty, would you present your report, please?
Yes, sir. So we have the Brickmar Rentals LLC, 11100 Shady Lane Drive, Plymouth, Indiana 46563, a variance of use to permit a duplex on parcel 503205 103-081 000-019 located at 1431 West Jefferson Street, Plymouth, Indiana 46563, Zone C3 Corridor Commercial District. So for this request, the applicant is seeking to permit the construction of a duplex on the parcel. As you can see here, it's highlighted in light blue up against West Jefferson and Lincoln Highway. They own the parcel to the immediate east as a access parcel to the parcel to the south, which already has 3 duplexes located on it. So they're seeking to continue that development that's been laid out before them, and continuing that parcel to the north. It would be, as it currently sits, it would be accessed from the east using the common drive. So there'd be no new driveways proposed, at least at this time, and keeping in conformance with what's been brought before the board and discussed many, many moons ago. So looking out of the property up and down the roadway, and then as we pan across the front parcel at the north side. And as we begin to pan across the main chunk of it, there were flags on the property, which would lead me to believe that's approximately where that structure would be located. That I'll let the applicant defer with some additional information within that as well. So for the analysis, the applicant is seeking to continue the development of a duplex development with one new unit. The property is zoned C3 corridor commercial district, but is also located within the neighborhood commercial overlay district. Both the base and overlay zoning districts do not permit duplexes by right or through special use approval, which is what brings the application here as a variance of use. The development has been only begun. The development has been only begun and hasn't been expanded in quite some time. There are currently 3 units on the adjacent parcel. The new proposal would be accessing off a common driveway that needs verification on right-of-way or right of access, since the new duplex would face that same direction and not use the parcel's direct access onto West Jefferson Street. So the decision criteria for this evening includes general welfare, adjacent property, practical difficulty, unnecessary hardship, and comprehensive plan. So for finding number 1, the approval should not be injurious to the public health, safety, and general welfare. For finding number 2, the use and value of adjacent property should be minimally impacted due to the existence of 3 duplexes within the same master development, and there is an adjacent apartment complex and duplex development. For finding number 3, the strict application of the ordinance would not permit the proposal, but is not self-imposed due to the development previously been shared and begun. So for finding number 4, the strict application of the ordinance would not permit the proposal, but is not as in line with the intent of the city's approved plans. So for finding number 5, the comprehensive plan identifies the general area as transitional mixed use. This district supports economic growth, including but not limited to a balance of medium to low density housing options, which is supported through thoughtfully designed to blend diverse land uses. So for a recommendation based on the information provided and review of the variance factors, staff would recommend approval of the proposal because the project will further the comprehensive plan and its implementation. Now it is up for board determination.
Anybody have questions?
This is one I didn't get to drive by. Is this on the south side of,
Yes.
okay, and is this
It's between the apartment complex
between
and
the apartment complex and that
engine.
one white house that sits there?
It's up on the hill.
And then,
Yeah,
yeah,
keep,
okay.
keep heading west.
I can
three
picture,
there.
yeah, I can picture it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anybody have any questions? Is that good?
Yep.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Will the petitioner please, or the representative, please step forward to the podium. Please state your name and address for the record. Making you do it. You dog. He knows we like you better. I'm just saying.
I'm Angie Birchmeyer, 11100 Shady Lane Drive. My husband Jeff and I own Birchmeyer Rentals. We own the property just to this, the south of that, I guess. The duplexes, we've owned that for quite some time, have already been in existence. When we bought the property, there was a deteriorating building. We did tear that down, and we are looking to build duplexes there. The flags are an approximate as to where we're looking to put that, and Ty covered it pretty well.
Okay. Anybody have questions?
You're just adding one more
Angie?
duplex. Okay.
Single story.
Yes, single story.
So make sure everybody's good before I let you go. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Motion open the public hearing.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same. I now declare the public meeting open. Is there anybody in the attendance that would like to speak in favor of the proposal? If so, please step forward to the podium, state your name and address for the record. All right. Is there anybody in attendance that would like to, that would speak against the proposal? If so, please step forward to the podium and state your name and address for the record. You have a 5-minute time limit. Okay. Nope. All right.
We need sidewalks there.
Huh?
Always say we need sidewalks on Jefferson Street.
That's not our perspective here.
Sorry.
Applicant, do you have anything additional comments you'd like?
No, I think that's about it.
All right, I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
Motion we close the public hearing.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same. I now declare the public meeting closed. All board members, any additional discussions? If there's no additional discussion from the board, I'll entertain a motion for approval, denial, or other recommendations.
I approve, or I propose we
Approve
present as presented.
Okay, I have a motion.
Second.
I have a second. Roll call, please.
Garner.
Yes.
Gidley.
Yes.
Ritchie.
Yes.
Wendell.
Yes.
Jacobs.
Yes. Passes. Dairy Queen, all right. All right, so. No. Ty, anything else you'd have before I ask Dennis?
I do not have anything else to building commissioner updates.
Okay,
Would
Dennis?
you like to share? Anything? I don't have anything.
The other property
your
on
slide.
Jefferson Street that we talk about with the trailers,
Oh, they're
they're
gone.
gone.
Yeah.
So is everything to your satisfaction at this point?
He informed me when he came in to pay his fine that he has a contractor to replace the fence,
I wondered.
but they're backed up and it's gonna be towards the end of July before they can get to it.
I can believe that, it's tough. Okay,
Did the wind take it down, or what do you think? Yeah.
Looked like something ran over it or.
Mayor, anybody else got anything they'd like to add from the,
Nothing else from the
Staff.
building commissioner? I have no other business this evening.
awesome.
Motion
I'll-
to adjourn?
Second.
Motion is second, all in favor say aye.
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 Two-tail.
That's how you run a meeting, buddy.
Don't break the gavel.
Yeah, I need that.